Only Metal Gear Solid game I've ever actually played.
I
Which is a shameful admittance.
It's the only Metal Gear Solid game you've ever played.
I know, mate. It's disgraceful.
I'm
Played
leaving.
the original.
No, I haven't played the original, no.
What?
I know, man.
You played Final Fantasy 13-2 and you've never played the original Metal Gear Solid.
I know.
Problem, Chris.
You fuck. I'm off. I'm out of here.
Probably too busy touching children or something.
Oh! Ladies and gentlemen from around the world, welcome to the first episode of the GameSlagz podcast. My name is Christopher Newell and I'm joined today by two wonderful Cockney gents. First of all, we have Owen Guerin.
Good day, Governor.
Good day, sir. How you doing? You all right?
Yeah, good, mate. You?
Yeah, pretty good. This is really weird because we're actually recording this after we've done the podcast. A bit of a, bit of a look through the window there. And also we have Mr. Daniel Savage.
Hello, chaps. How are we both?
Oh, decent.
Fine. Not bad.
Yeah.
We're related.
We'll start with, who shall I pick first? Owen, what have you been playing this week, my friend?
Oh, dude, I've recently purchased a handheld emulation tablet called the JXD S7800.
Free plug there.
I think that's
definitely.
R2D2's cousin.
Yeah, they are closely related. But it's got 12 emulators on it. So most of my gaming has been through like the retro consoles of the Sega, the PlayStation, and like some good old fashioned platformers like Crash Bandicoot and Spyro. Lose hours to just collecting gems and apples and jumping on things.
I agree that Spyro is old-fashioned. I don't know about good.
Careful, Dan. Careful now. Activision still had some cred back in the day.
The main thing that I've lost a lot of hours to at the moment is Final Fantasy VII again. Just every kind of 5 years I go around a little cycle. I'm like, I'm gonna play that again, but this time I'm gonna do even more.
Do you think the news of the remake was made you pick? I know you said that you play it in cycles anyway, but do you think the news of the remake is kind of like, yeah, I want to play that game again?
Do you know? I think I'm a one being with Square Enix because I started playing it, then saw that they was releasing that shit, and I was like, maybe they're keeping tabs on what I'm up to, and being like, yeah. Okay, Owen's gone on the next cycle. Let's give him something amazing for the next one.
Do you think
Owen guy is still fucking playing?
Do you think you're one of those fans?
He likes the cross-dressing scene, doesn't he?
Yeah, see, I've never actually played any. I've played a bit of Final Fantasy 13-2, which I've heard is the worst starting point for anybody who wants to jump on, because apparently it's the worst one in the series.
It's pretty bad.
Just Final Fantasy X2, did you say?
13-2, the one with that stupid bitch. What's her face? What's the
Thunder? Storm?
Lightning? Is it Lightning? Yeah, Lightning Returns or something like that.
Yeah, bad.
Load of rubbish.
Go retro. The Final Fantasies go retro.
Yeah, I mean, I should really. Are you going to be one of those fans who's sort of going to be thrown off if they sort of... Because obviously they're going to... I mean, even I've seen Final Fantasy VII being played, and it does look a little bit of its time. Are you going to be a bit angry if they have to remodel or change any of the mechanics or the way it looks?
Well, do you know, apparently they were saying that the mechanics are going to remain fairly similar. Like, I'll think by default, as it's... Like, they'll cut a few bits and pieces here, there, and everywhere just to smooth out the linear motion of this RPG. But I also know that with whatever they delete, they'll put in new stuff.
Yeah.
So, like, there will be some crazy new bosses... Like all the chocobo racing and breeding and the summons, like all that stuff will be updated to the nth degree.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think anyone that works at Square Enix that makes Final Fantasy is on LSD anyway. Like the things they create, like the creatures and monsters, are next level crazy shit anyway.
Something for a platinum game.
Yeah, so I say bring it. I'm interested to see what they do. Like Final Fantasy 15 looks insane. Like the Gamers Gone thing, where they've got the new video of them fighting the Marlboro or whatever the fucking thing that's called.
A big cigarette.
Yeah, they are fighting a big cigarette. Ironically, its move is bad breath.
So
right.
It could be. Is it lung cancer as well? Oh.
See, personally, I want a remake. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think who's the director, Nomura? He said that it will be recognizable. You know, the environments, the characters, the sort of overarching plot. But I want a remake. I don't want to play this. I can still play Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, I think a lot of fans are saying that, aren't they? Really.
I can still, and I don't know if just a big. The thing is, you could go about it one way. You could literally do it like the Resident Evil remake, where they literally just take the original, the pre-rendered graphics, make them look awesome, and then just throw it out onto your consoles and PCs. And that worked great. That worked perfectly. Final Fantasy VII is a much fucking bigger game than Resident Evil is. Like, to do that with Final Fantasy VII would probably cost even more than just making it from the ground up for the new consoles.
Yeah.
And that ATB system is, like you said earlier, Chris, people don't have the patience for that now. Like in that battle system, there are moments where you're literally watching a bar fill up. And people don't have time for that now. They will not put up with that. But I'm excited. It's going to be great.
This is the problem, because I have no point of reference when it comes to Final Fantasy, apart from 13.2, which I've tried to forget ever since playing it. So yeah, I'm glad you guys are happy about a remake coming, or a remake or a remodeling. What would you call it? A remake?
They're saying remake, aren't they? That's what it is.
Is it a total remodeling of everything?
So.
I'd be interested to see whether or not they're going to keep the random battles as a complete secret, like with all the new Final Fantasy games where you can see what you're running towards, and you can be like, oh, fuck that. Or, yeah, I'm going to kick the shit out of that little bird. Whereas Final Fantasy VII, you're nearly dead. You could have no potions or magic or anything, and you could see the save point, and you will get into a random encounter before the save point and lose the last 7 hours of whatever you've done.
It's just another relic of that age, though, isn't it? Like, you'd have to be really brave to have random. I'm trying to think, is there any modern games that have random encounters? I mean, Pokemon, I suppose. They still have random encounters.
Yeah.
But apart from that, I can't think.
You'd think a game like Dark Souls would sort of benefit from sort of random. I suppose that it is worked into the PvP to a certain degree, but not in terms of just general enemies. Or would it work? It's hard enough as it is.
I suppose at least you can see what potentially you're coming up against, as opposed to someone that's just going to be like, hello, I'm 700 times the size of you.
This is true, yeah. And the beauty of the Dark Souls system is you have to learn every enemy, don't you? And that's how you beat them. You have to learn each enemy, and not knowing what you're coming up against is
the thing with Final Fantasy. Comparing it to Dark Souls doesn't really work, because Dark Souls is based on skill. Of course, you get your stats up, but there's plenty of videos of people not leveling up and beating Dark Souls. You know, just you can beat every boss on level 1 if you're good enough. Whereas Final Fantasy is it's just stat based. If you grind enough, you'll beat everything. A 4-year-old could beat Final Fantasy given them enough time, you know? Of course, there's a lot of strategy, but if you level up enough, strategy doesn't really matter. You just smash them with your biggest moves, you know? Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. Dan, what have you been playing this week?
I've been playing a lot of games, actually. I'm on my summer holidays, so a lot more than... I played 2 very similar games. I played Life is Strange. The latest episode of Life is Strange. Me and my wife played through that.
Without you, American girls, I'd like to.
What the hell is this?
Be part of the world around you.
That's Rachel Amber. Something happened to her. I want proof you can rewind time. No.
It's fantastic.
Is it finished
I really enjoyed it.
Is it 6 episodes or 5?
So there's another episode to come. So there's 5 episodes. This was the 4th one. Life is Strange Dark Room. Have you been...
I played the first episode. I didn't take to it, but I've heard that it gets better. So I'll probably pick it up, all the rest of the episodes up at some point. Just not.
I really recommend it. It's I mean, the overarching plot is... I don't know what it is. Do you know what it is? I think I'm comparing it to Telltale. So that's another game I also played this week, Game of Thrones. The latest one of that. Right. And I'm just so bored of it. I'm just so done with... I've got such Telltale fatigue. It's unreal.
Yeah.
Like, they have taken every single not even game to game, episode to episode, just gets less and less video gamey as it goes on, and they seem okay with that. You know, they seem to be they found their formula that works, and they are just sticking with it. And you sort of can't blame them, but
it's worked for them, hasn't it?
So bored.
It's sort of brought them up from the ashes, because they were essentially dead in the water before the Walking Dead came out.
It's a real shame. Yeah, I mean, because they were bringing out games like the Sam and Max remakes they did were really good. The Monkey Island ones were, I enjoyed them. They weren't as good as the originals, but they were good crack. And then Jurassic Park was terrible.
We won't speak of that. Yeah, let's move on.
But then even The Walking Dead, like if you look at the difference between The Walking Dead season 1 and season 2, I mean, The Walking Dead one never had any puzzles as such, but at least you were walking around and examining the environments. And
the Walking Dead one was just more to and fro in. Like it was more just keep talking to people in certain orders, and then you
exactly. It's a graphic novel. I mean, it's what do you call it? Like an interactive novel. That's it, isn't it? It's like you know, the thing is, just playing Life is Strange makes me want to go back and play The Walking Dead. And maybe what was the other one they did? Wolf Among Us. A stronger. That's my wife's favourite. She's reading the comics at the moment, actually.
I need to pick them up at some stage.
But I'd like to go back and see how I feel playing it again, because I remember at the time that no one else was doing that. It's an adventure game, and technically it's an adventure game.
Yeah.
And I just thought it was so brilliant. It was just like a real modern take on that genre, to a genre that was dead for all intents and purposes. Like even like the big. Like LucasArts was still around at the time; they weren't doing anything. So it was, and it won loads of Game of the Years. But like now, I look back on it and think, I don't know if it was that good, really.
Yeah,
I don't know if it was, because I'm playing Life is Strange, and I think the story and the scripts and the writing was definitely better in The Walking Dead. But as an overall package, Life is Strange just feels so much more complete. Like the amount of time you'll just spend. Like you spend a lot of your time in a school, like in dormitories, and if you go into someone's room, everything is you can examine,
like meticulously
and find
detailed,
out. Yeah, but that really adds to the overall picture and the feeling of belonging in that world that you're in there, and these little things give you clues about characters that they don't say. And The Walking Dead, Telltale in general, like Game of Thrones, is really bad. That, like Owen said, like you're just going through one dialogue tree to the next, and then on them little bits where you do have actual control of the character, there's maybe 1 or 2 items in the environment. So me and the wife, she's a big wrestling fan, and we thought that some sort of Telltale WWE game would be amazing. Because you've got all those like over the top characters, and just the way they interact with each other, like. Berating each other, and I just think that'd make a wicked story-driven game.
That would be hilarious.
Imagine Telltale's take on the Attitude Era of WWE.
Exactly. That's what I want to see.
From the perspective of mankind. Imagine that. It'd be fucking amazing. But
Chris, before we moved on, we haven't discussed what you've been playing.
Yeah, I was going to say, I've also been on a bit of a... I suppose is it okay to call them point and clicks? Because they're not really point and clicks. They're more... What are they called these days? You know,
they call them adventure games, but... I think they're called, this is point and click though. I don't know what game you're talking about. It might not be. if you're playing Mario,
it's definitely not a point and click. No. Well, it comes from an original point and click, one of the most original, I think. It's called A King's Quest.
Come in, Gwendolyn. I hope this old cap will be remembered for far more than the action tattered across its brim. Sewn into the seams are many hidden adventures.
Tell me everything.
Hey, it's Graham the Wise.
When I was a much younger lad.
You look like a compassionate fellow.
Before I was a knight.
The greatest knight in all of Daventry.
Before I'd been to Daventry.
I see braveness in those eyes.
It's a tale about a tournament that changed my life.
It's a new episodic format on, or a take on a 1987 point and click adventure game, which went on through till 1999, I believe. And it's sort of a modern retake of that, and it's fucking wonderful. It's absolutely it's one of the best point and click quotation marks games I've ever played. It's so I never played the Monkey Island games, okay, growing up, I've sort of seen them being played, and I know roughly what they're about, and the sort of how it sort of puts a story across. It's heavy emphasis on humour and wit and sort of character-based stuff. And King's Quest, I think, is the modern version of Monkey Island. Of course, that's all based on nothing at all, really. But I mean, it plays sort of. It's nothing like the Telltale games because, as we've discussed, Telltale games have very little game in them. I'd say Telltale is about, most of the time, 20% game, especially these days, 20% game.
Sure, if that.
Yeah, and 80% just dialogue trees, essentially.
Waffling.
Yeah, but King's Quest is the other way around. It's about 80% gameplay, and the story happens as you play. I don't really want to give any elements of the story away because it's best experienced firsthand, really. But there's tiny little quirky things in it where if the character you control, if you do something wrong, if you fall into a pit, say, because the story's told through memory. It's the king looking back on his past, and you're sort of playing that as it goes along. And so if you fall in a pit and die, the death screen will be the new king saying, "Well, that wasn't quite right. I think I'm misremembering that." And he'll always reference the way you die and what you did wrong. And I think it's about £8. I bought it for £8 on PSN, and it's long. It's because of the puzzles, and they are quite complicated puzzles, and they're all very different. It took me about 7 or 8 hours to finish, and there's going to be 6 episodes.
Oh wow!
I know, yeah. And the funny thing is, I think it's developed by a new studio called The Odd Gentleman, and it's published by Sierra, and it's distributed by Activision. It's very complicated. And I saw Activision on it, and I was like, typical, stereotypical thing. If you see Activision on anything, it's sort of, you push it away. But no, I'm glad I inspected it, and I would recommend everybody else check it out because it is an amazing game. Just charming down to its roots.
I remember playing King's Quest at school, actually.
Oh, really?
On the school's computer. And what I remember is what you said about it tells you how you died and stuff. I remember that being like I grew up playing LucasArts games, so the Monkey Island. I played all those, and you couldn't die in those games. Right. You never died. You just got stuck. And what I remember about the Sierra games, King's Quest especially, is that you could die, and you could do things wrong, and then just completely bugger up your game. Forever.
Yeah.
I remember. I don't know if it's the first. It might be the first King's Quest where, like, literally you go and see the king, and if you try to talk to him before kneeling, he just says something like, "Oh, you bloody rude bastard, get out," and that's it. And then you're just doomed to walk around the game world not doing anything. King won't talk to you because I didn't kneel before I spoke to him. And,
that's hilarious.
That's my King's Quest memory. Fucking hard.
It doesn't do similar things with failure states. Like, obviously that's a failure state where for the rest of the game I'm sure it sort of reflects the thing you did wrong. In this there's very much a specific way to do things and to solve certain quests. It does follow a very particular formula, and it's not too original in its ideas, but the quests and stuff are very original. There is actually not boss fights, but there's boss puzzles, defeating the bosses through certain ways and stuff. But it's just charming. It's really funny and really sort of innocent. Like, it's the type of game that any adult could play with their children, and they'd both get equal amounts out of it.
Well, I'm sold on it. I mean, I'm ready to pick it up. I mean, it seems to come here really quick. Was it only unveiled at E3?
It was.
It seems like it wasn't that long ago.
No, it's not been marketed particularly well either, as far as I'm aware.
It's one of those games that probably doesn't need it. Like the name. It's going to be named,
yeah.
And then word of mouth, like yourself, just people saying that this is definitely a game you want to pick up. Yeah. And if it's more puzzle based than story based, then yeah, I'm sold. I'm always up for a more old school experience, and the graphics look
it's gorgeous,
really pretty.
It's gorgeous,
yeah, they look really nice.
It's sort of animated foregrounds on painted backgrounds. It does look fucking nice. Lovely. It really does. I'm sure it looks even better on PC as well.
But I mean, those old point and click games, King's Quest and Manic Mansion, Day of the Tentacle. I mean, they were real technical showcases back then.
Yeah.
Like, compared, if you look at King's Quest, what's that? 87.
1987 was the first King's Quest.
And compare that to something. What else was coming out around that time? Like Mario, Zelda. They were 86, and like the graphics on King's Quest just look insane compared to. Yeah. And so it's I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna get it. I'm definitely gonna pick that up, I think.
Yeah, I recommend you do so. Right, now we're on to news. But before we do that, I really need a slash, lads. Right, it's time for the news. Actually, I've already done that intro.
The news.
I've got a piece of news.
You got a piece of news?
Hulk Hogan is not going to be in the new WWE K2K60. The new wrestling game, Hulk Hogan won't be in it because he's racist.
Because he's part of the BNP.
Owen, are you in the new wrestling game?
I am.
Chris, are you in the new wrestling game?
I am, but I'm not going as myself. I'm going to be in a big panda suit, and I'm just going to fucking wrestle bastards to the ground. Do you know what I mean?
Fuck, I'm not in the game, and I can't help but wonder, do they think I'm racist?
Yeah, fucking PlayStation 4 didn't even turn up.
They didn't. I think it's
They were
because
just like, yeah.
yeah. I think it was obviously a calculated decision, wasn't it? Because they obviously don't have enough to show.
It's because they're leading the market that they've kind of gone, well, you know, we're selling more consoles, we're selling more games, let's be a bit lazy.
Yeah, yeah.
And Microsoft have gone, let's take that opportunity.
Let's capitalise on their laziness.
Well, yeah. I think Xbox are in. I always love seeing the people in second place because last generation this was completely the other way around.
Oh yeah,
so Xbox 360 had a really big lead, and then Sony just came out with all these exclusives and indie support, and they were conferences everywhere. And like now we're just seeing it the other way around. Now the PlayStation's got this big lead. They can sort of afford, I guess, for now to kind of take it a little bit easy. Whereas Xbox have got nothing to lose, but to bring out all the, especially in Europe where usually the Xbox doesn't sell as well as the PlayStation anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
So they're in Germany, and yeah, they've got nothing to lose by just bringing out all the big guns. And I really think they did actually.
They got some nice exclusives.
Yeah, there's a lot coming. I think you got it right there, Dan, when you said that last generation Xbox was killing it at the beginning. Like the first, even up to 5 years, they dominated, didn't they? And then PlayStation, in the last 3 years of that console life cycle, they just came out of nowhere and just blew everybody out of the water, didn't they? It was absolutely brilliant. And even up until the release of the PS4 and the Xbox One, they were still making exclusive content for the PS3. And whereas 360, what did it have on it? Maybe a new Forza game,
Yeah, the FIFAs and that sort of thing.
Indeed. But yeah, it's a shame not to see Sony there, but obviously it is a calculated decision because they haven't got enough to show. Whereas Xbox, they really did have stuff to show.
I mean, Sony are there, or were there. Sony were there, they just didn't have a conference.
Oh, yeah, I suppose.
That's the only thing. So they were still showing the usual. So they still had their stuff that they showed at E3, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, nothing new from Sony, I think is the best way to say it.
Yeah.
But Sony is still slow. Like, the console's now been out a good while.
Yeah.
And Sony are still slow. Like, there's games coming out. They've had some good games here, there, and everywhere. But in terms of exclusives, and like it must have been about 8 months when PlayStation 4 came out that nothing came out. All it was
I mean,
was
that
online.
happens every generation, though, doesn't it? I mean, to be honest.
Yeah, it's. I do prefer playing games on the PS4 entirely, just because it's the better. I mean, that's something that Sony will always have for the rest of the generation. Now, it's the better console to play games on. People are always going to fall back on that to play, the third-party stuff. But I think from day one, really, the Xbox One did have the better exclusives, whether you like them or not. They had more exclusives, and they were a bit more interesting. And the PS4, the exclusives that they do have been hitting home. Do you know what I mean? Like Bloodborne is a classic example of a game that, is very, even though I haven't finished it yet, and I apologise for that, Dan.
You have my copy of Bloodborne.
I do. But yeah, in terms of games Microsoft had there, I think we should talk about some of them because they are. I mean, we actually got a proper good look at Quantum Break this time, which is shaping up to be a nice little game. I hope that. I mean, obviously the mechanics of the game look very interesting, but I hope that's just not a quirky thing. I hope they're going to sort of weave the time narrative stuff into the actual narrative, and as opposed to just a cool mechanic. I hope the story builds on all that stuff and has some interesting, sort of like what BioShock Infinite did. I mean, there's a lot of mixed views on BioShock Infinite, but I thought for one it was a good game, and you can't dispute really that it was a game that told a reasonably good story quite well.
I think you got a good chance of the narrative being fairly good. If you look at it's Remedy, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
History of Alan Wake. I saw when I looked at the Quantum Break trailer, my initial thoughts were that it's a third person shooter with some time mechanics, and that's been done. That's been done before. Right. But yeah, Bioshock Infinite has done some similar things, walls and that sort of thing. And I don't think it looked bad as such. But the gameplay. I mean, I'm just talking just from the trailer, but the gameplay didn't really grab me as I think this is going to be anything special. But they're tying it in with this like live action video stuff. And if you look at Alan Wake, it was a very similar deal. The settings and the environment and story of Alan Wake were really kind of engrossing. Gameplay really, really average, if that.
Yeah.
But you know, a good story, a good setting is enough that you'll look past those things.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think looking back, I think there's a good chance that the narrative should be pretty tight.
Let's hope so.
Interesting. I think it's gonna turn the world of gaming more into films nowadays. Like that whole kind of the CGI scenes are just gonna be actual cameras and actors and stuff.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of crossing a boundary. Like it's tying the realm of films and gaming together.
Yeah. It just seems to be more prevalent, and it can work well when I think an example of a game doing it badly is do you remember Defiance, when Defiance came along and everybody was raving about Defiance being, because it was an MMO third person shooter, am I right there? I never played it, but it was meant to have a TV crossover where the actions in game would reflect what would happen in the show, and it just fell on its ass as far as I'm aware. But I think done properly, it can be something totally original and really, really cool. Something that will change video games, because I wouldn't say we're due for a change, but it's always nice to have a bit of variety in there, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely something kind of out of the norm that is unexpected.
Yeah.
And I guess, do you reckon that make it more like, if it is kind of real people in the CGI scenes and stuff? Do you reckon that make it more submersive for the player, that they actually believe that they are?
Sort of
really, like, I know gaming is quite submersive. Well, for me, gaming is submersive anyway. Like I lose myself in the game, as people do. No, I actually mean I drowned myself in the game. Yeah, immersive. So, like, because people are going to actually be looking at actors on the screen and their kind of facial recognition with people's emotions and stuff on screen.
Yeah, it's like full motion capture, isn't it? Because you've got it's sort of I don't know. I mean, I think it could be. I mean, Littlefinger's in it, isn't it? Littlefinger's the villain in the story, isn't he? It's Peter Baelish. I was like, holy shit, there he is. He's on film.
Peter Pedofinger.
Peter Pedofinger. But yeah, I think it looks promising. I think we've got to reserve judgment till it comes out, of course. Because I mean, have we got a solid release date for it yet? It's 2016, isn't it? But
is it? See, that's the other thing that worries about me. This game's been in. Did they announce it with the Xbox?
They did, yeah. It was ages ago.
How long was that now?
2-3 years, yeah.
Fucking ages ago. Like, just any game that's been in development that long, just like, look at The Order. Do you know what I mean? Like,
oh, don't get me started.
For me, like the Quantum Break and The Order, nothing alike, but those were head to head in terms of this is what our console can do.
Yeah,
technically. Yeah. And Quantum Break's still not here. Still not here at all.
And we'd all prefer it if The Order wasn't here either.
I mean, are you excited? I mean, you're both. I mean, I don't own an Xbox, and a Quantum Break is not going to convince me to get one. I honestly don't. I don't think it'll be bad, but it will not make me go out and buy an Xbox.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for you guys, I mean, do you think this is a game you're going to be picking up?
No.
Just solid. I think definitely, yeah, because I'm always excited for new IPs if they look promising, as Quantum Break I think does look promising. And I think, I don't know. I mean, I'm one of those gamers who would pick up any exclusive. I mean, I own all the consoles, so I would pick up any exclusive that was out on it anyway. But
yeah,
I am more excited for Quantum Break than something like Halo 5. Then again, I'm not a fan of Halo anyway. But yeah, I'll pick it up. That's a direct answer to Owen's. Mine's yes.
See, the only reason why I hit no so fast is because, as we're probably just about to discuss, there are some other stunning games that are on the horizon, and I think that I'll be throwing my money into one of them.
Well, yeah, let's talk about those, shall we? Let's okay. Next on the list, I've got Crackdown 3. Now, before we get started, I want to ask you guys, like, when did Crackdown become one of these things that everybody got really excited for? And I like the first Crackdown. The second one was a bit of a letdown, but it wasn't a bad game. But it wasn't. I don't know why the third one is hype-inducing. It was a solid game, but since then we've had better sort of these big, ambitious, open-world, sandboxy games. I mean, Just Cause 2 is a classic example of a game that just does everything better. You know.
I think that's maybe it's kind of a potential. So with Crackdown, the first one, I played a fair bit, and it was good, but it wasn't great, was it? But you could see the potential there.
Yeah, yeah.
So when that potential still wasn't reached with Crackdown 2, people just forgot about it. And I think now with this new generation, I think maybe there's a little bit of excitement for like, okay, maybe with the new technology they can actually realise what this game is actually capable of. And maybe they can, because the new trailer looked amazing.
Well, that's it.
Oh, mate, the fact that the map is 100% destructible. Like, when you see that huge building...
The sort of keel over, yeah.
Down.
But that's only in the cloud, isn't it? It only has 100% destruction in the cloud multiplayer.
But I think
yeah.
watching that tower come down, it might well be the most impressive thing I've seen this generation, actually.
Well, yeah. I mean, Just Cause 3 is promising a lot as well, but I don't know whether it's going to provide it on the same level.
I doubt it. Just, I mean, it's nice to see. I mean, the thing is, when the Xbox was first announced, they said, "Oh, it's going to be online all the time, and we're going to be using the cloud." And then everyone fucking pissed and moaned because they don't like new things and they want everything to be the fucking same all the time. So it's like, "Oh no, we won't do that. You don't have to be online, so we won't use the cloud, and you can just play the same fucking games you've been playing for the last 10 years."
Yeah.
That's right. And now watching them use this technology in a really, I mean, they used it in like, what was it, Forza, the driver task?
Driver task, yeah.
I don't give a fuck about that. But using this technology in a meaningful way, like the Order, it looks fucking decent, yeah, and you can tell
that was the most cockney thing you've ever said. It looks decent, yeah, geezer.
It looks fucking decent, yeah. But like, there's no point in using all that technology to make a really fucking nice looking moustache, and your game is shit.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Whereas,
but that's all it is. That is just this is like it's that game for PlayStation 4 is like Rise for the Xbox 360.
Yeah, it's a graphical showpiece, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
that is literally all it is. Like the gameplay, shoddy. Like this whole kind of tap, like, oh my god, there's a monster. Tap X. Dodge. And then like just cutscenes that are like 4 hours long. Like the cutscenes were longer than the fucking game was.
But like so using that cloud technology for something that will actually make a difference to gameplay, that's crazy, man. I mean, that's the next generation for me. That's what these consoles could do that the last ones couldn't. You know.
But yeah, onto probably a game that I'm at least excited for, and definitely won't be buying on Xbox One until it's reduced vastly in price. That's Rise of the Tomb Raider. Now, I
thought you love Tomb Raider.
I have no idea what the...
Yeah, Dan, you were coming in and out again, mate.
Connection, Dan.
What's going on?
Oh, there you are. You're back again.
Can you wankers hear me or what?
I can hear you again now. Fine, yeah. It seems to be when...
What the fuck's going on?
Chinese dub film.
When we were on to a good point, you just seem to get cut off. Right, okay, we'll start that again, and I'll just edit that out. Right. One game that I'm definitely not looking forward to is Rise of the Tomb Raider. Guys, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts is I thought you loved Tomb Raider.
Oh, no.
You know, it's got to the point for me with Tomb Raider where she just needs to give up. Like Lara Croft, every day is just a bad day in the office.
Yep.
Like she can't just go to a tomb, get what she needs, and fuck off home. Like the tomb, like everything crumbled down, and then like she stands at a fireplace where you can like upgrade her skills and stuff. Now, unless she's part of like an Apache Indian tribe, talking to a fire is not going to do anything to her body.
You haven't played Dark Souls, though,
Good point, I suppose.
So true.
But yeah, I mean, I think I'm in the minority here where I say that I wasn't a big fan of the reboot Tomb Raider for many reasons. One, I think the story was... I always demand a half-decent story in a game where it's based around narrative. And I thought the story was piss poor. I thought that the voice acting was dreadful. The gameplay was fun. That's what I enjoyed about it. It was a B grade Uncharted, really.
See, I think that's why you're too harsh on it. You said it was a B grade. A B grade Uncharted that's a decent score.
Yeah,
that's a good game.
Maybe I should have said E grade Uncharted.
Yeah, but if you're saying it's a B grade Uncharted, like it still makes it a good game.
Yeah, exactly.
When you're liking it to Uncharted, then it's going to be shit.
Yeah, this is true. Yeah, I mean, like maybe I should rephrase it. It is a good game. As a game, it's competent. It doesn't do anything different. I mean, it doesn't. It's sort of it's quite generic in its third-person shooteriness, I suppose.
It is just a quick game as well. Like if you
it is.
dedicate, you can get it done.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's what 9 hours, something like that.
3 hours.
Oh, I see.
I'm just going for the A to B journey.
Oh, right. I see what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think I sort of agree with Owen there. Like, I thought the gameplay was better. I thought it was decent. I thought it was quite good. Like, I like the cover system. I love the fact the bows are just the best weapon. It don't matter what genre game it is. Bows are just the best weapons.
True.
And but yeah, like I just went from beginning to end. I never really felt like I wanted to explore that island or.
No, it was very generic, wasn't it?
Let me. It was sort of a little bit quite linear actually. Now.
Well, it's.
Yeah, well, this is it. This is what we were saying last night. Like that game especially, they've done really, really well in making the gamer believe that they've got a wide spectrum of choice of journey from A to B, whereas it's not at all.
No.
It couldn't be any more linear if they wanted to.
Yeah, it's I think that's something that's changed in Rise of the Tomb Raider. Like, I think it is more semi-open world than the first one was. It certainly looks it from the way they were saying it in the conference. You've got like one specific area, not in total, but one specific level that's full of different tombs, and you can traverse it in different ways. I just hope that is exactly what it's like, because if I can dodge that story for long enough, I will. Because I mean, it's the stupidest name for a game I've ever. It's like The Dark Knight Rises, and I won't get onto that because I don't like that film either. Because it's got nothing to do with Batman Rising. It's a load of rubbish. And this is the same with Rise of the Tomb Raider. She already risen. She already became Tomb Raider. Well, not Tomb Raider, she already became Lara Croft because there was, 4 tombs in that first game? But yeah, I mean...
Maybe it's a lot more literal than that. Maybe it's a tomb on top of a mountain or something.
Maybe there's 2 tectonic plates just push a tomb up and she has to scale the mountain to get to it. Maybe it is that.
That would be a really boring game if you just had to stand on a tectonic plate as Lara Croft and just wait for the natural...
That's it, 500 years. yeah.
I think what they need to do is set the game in tombs. Like, to make an actual reboot of the original.
Oh, back on Tomb Raider, I was like, what? We still on Farmers to be there.
Like the actual Tomb Raider was a lot more puzzle.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Find the right key, find the right lever. And it was kind of a platformer as well, I suppose. Looking for what you could grab and what you could climb onto. And I think it's just a side effect of the modern gamer that people don't have the time. They and especially it's a really hard to sell that game as well. Like if you put a big trailer with Lara Croft shooting down loads of enemies and stuff, that's exciting. If you see a trailer of just Lara Croft just kind of standing there contemplating, how do I do this puzzle? Like it's boring. You can't sell that.
No, this is true. Yeah.
And you got to remember that Square Enix have to sell 100 million copies for a game to be successful.
Oh, that annoyed me. That was something else that annoyed me about that first game. Yeah, unbelievable Square Enix. What was 3 million copies and they weren't satisfied with it?
Well, it's more than that now. It's like 6 million. What
yeah,
with the PC and not the definitive edition.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. But yeah, still not as. They still didn't sell as much as they were hoping.
Is anybody? I know, Owen, you said you're a Halo fan. Halo 5.
I am indeed a Halo fan. I say bring it. I do enjoy the franchise.
How do you think 343 has done in terms of taking over from Bungie?
Do you know what? I think well fucking done.
Yeah.
I think they had a big task on their shoulders. Like, I mean, Halo, it isn't the most difficult game in the world. Like it, but not as a gamer to play, as in to create. Like, to sit there and make the game. Like with 1 and 2 when they came out, like you've already got the intro of the storyline there. So as long as you kind of use the same mechanics and do the same kind of things and just keep updating stuff and moving it on, then you can't really lose. But I think they did really well. Like, they could have done that thing where they go, right, we're going to put a lot of 343 into this, get Bungie out of it, and we're going to make this our child. Yeah. And they could have fucked it. But I think they've just done enough to just kind of to keep it good, to keep it going in the right direction. And I say bring it. Like I was saying to Dan a little while back, Halo 5 will be the only reason that, well, the main reason that I'm going to get an Xbox One. Yeah. because I'm part of the have to complete every Halo in legendary mode.
I think a lot of Xbox owners are like that, aren't they? Like this is the system seller. If this game doesn't sell the Xbox One, there's not many that are gonna really.
But this is it. Like Master Chief is the Sonic for the Sega, is the Mario for the Nintendo.
Yeah,
like, for me, Master Chief is Xbox One.
Yeah.
End of. Like, and you can bring out all these other little games like Halo Wars. Yeah, like it was good. I kind of enjoyed it, but I want to run around as Chief. Like ODST for me was shit. Like it was the smallest, pointless game that I've ever played. You play some random people, and within 5 hours, where you think the game's going to continue, the credits roll up the screen.
Yeah.
I nearly broke the screen. Like I was angered by this. But, I mean, come on! Like he's Chief, and the trailer where he opens his hand, and he's got Cortana in his hand, and that big thing. You're just like, yes.
I've got Cortana on my Windows 10 PC now.
Oh yeah.
She's fucking useless. Like it's quicker just to find shit myself.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Can you get her to say dirty things? Can you like text to speech with her?
I don't know. I'll find out.
Oh yes. That is it, Daniel. Spank my right blue ass, you fucking southern fairy.
But yeah, I know the next game on the list is one that certainly me and Dan are. Well, I'm not quite as excited for it as Dan is, I'm sure. But Dark Souls 3, which is getting a lot of.
Shit.
Which is
shit.
That was my excited scream.
It's getting.
Looks so shit. I only say this to mock Daniel. It does actually look pretty good. But
Yeah.
I am more excited now. I've seen gameplay. I'm far more excited than I was when they announced it. I thought it's too soon. You know, I mean, you've just released Dark Souls 2 and Bloodborne.
Yeah.
And now you're announcing Dark Souls 3, and I thought, Dark Souls is definitely maybe my favorite game of all time.
Right.
And I did not want to get sick of like franchise fatigue.
Yeah.
But then obviously they said Miyazaki is back in the reins, so that's exciting for people, you know, who are fans of the series. They know he is Dark Souls, and
Essentially, yeah.
Well, he is, and there's very few people like that in the industry. And the difference between Dark Souls, Bloodborne, and Dark Souls 2, you can tell that he wasn't a part of it. There's very few. What do they call them? Auteurs? Is that what they call them?
Yes, in their mediums.
So in games we don't have many. There's not like Kojima.
Yeah.
If you're playing a Kojima game, you know you're playing a Kojima game.
Yeah.
And it's the same for Dark Souls fans. They just know that this is Miyazaki.
Yeah.
And they know when it's not Miyazaki. And so the fact that he's back on board for a new generation, in the franchise I love, I am dead excited. And this gameplay looks awesome. It looks kind of a cross between Dark Souls and Bloodborne.
It does,
definitely a lot quicker than Dark Souls, but not as quick as Bloodborne.
Yeah.
And I cannot fucking wait. I'm so excited.
Yeah, I think the thing I'm most excited for. I mean, the thing I least liked about Dark Souls 2 was the generic bosses. You know, the big fat guy with the armor on. Do you know what I mean? It's just variations on humanoids. And Dark Souls, the first game for me, when I remember back to it, it's always fighting these grotesquely disgusting fucking huge behemoth bosses that I looked at and thought, there's no fucking way I'm going to beat this cunt. And then, you know, when you finally do beat him, it's like, I've just killed a god of gods. Do you know what I mean? Whereas in
sense of achievement.
Exactly, yeah, and that's what was lost in Dark Souls 2. There was many things lost in Dark Souls 2, I think. I still really like the game a lot, but I don't think the level design wasn't quite as refined as it was in Dark Souls or Bloodborne for that matter. But yeah, I mean, if they bring all those things back for Dark Souls 3, then I'm on board, frankly.
I mean they got 4 games now under their belt: Dark Souls 1, 2, Demon Souls, Bloodborne.
Yeah.
I think they're starting to get there. They're starting to. I think that's what's going on with Dark Souls 3. I don't think we should expect anything really new. What I think we should expect is them to fucking nail the formula that they've been doing for the last 7 years or however long it's been. Miyazaki. Are you right there, Owen?
Yeah, I'm just having a little fit between myself. I was going to say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Exactly, yeah.
But Miyazaki has said, like, the Souls franchise will continue for years, but perhaps this might be the end of Dark Souls.
Right.
This might be his magnus opus. You know, this might be his his final stamp on Dark Souls as we know it now.
Yeah, his
'cause I
Requiem.
want them to, exactly, and now I want them to do like Sci-Fi Souls or Star
Oh, yeah.
Wars Souls or something like that, because that'd be fucking brilliant, wouldn't it?
Oh, to be fair. Yeah, anything else to add to Dark Souls, anybody?
If you haven't played Dark Souls, I mean, well, you need to play Bloodborne first.
See,
I think Bloodborne's a lot easier to get into than Dark Souls.
That's true, yeah. But I do prefer Dark Souls to Bloodborne.
Yes, so do I. But it's close.
It is close. It is very close.
For me, if I had to order them, which I don't,
You're going to anyway.
I would say from worst to best, it would be Dark Souls 2, Demon Souls, Bloodborne, Dark Souls.
I think I agree with that. Maybe I put
the correct order.
Maybe I put Demon Souls above Bloodborne actually, because it was the first one I played. But then again, I can't just say that because of the nostalgia factor. I have to have some. It has to hold up. No, I think I'd agree with that order. Yeah.
Demon Souls does hold up, but again, it's the
it's not as well
had
refined.
Had separate levels. If you remember, it had like a hub level. And
yes, yeah.
Had a load. Is that Bloodborne's like that actually?
Yeah, I think that's they took a lot of things from Demon Souls in that sense.
But in Bloodborne, you can, if I remember, you can walk, but also it is open world in the sense that you could walk from one place to the other, couldn't you? For the most part.
For the most part, yeah.
But with Demon Souls, you couldn't do that at all. And
no, it's more gateways and
going from open world back to that. It just doesn't work out.
No. Okay, next on the list is a game that actually looks quite interesting, despite my not dislike of the genre, but I can't really play scary games because I'm a massive pussy. But We Happy Few, which looks like
We Happy Few. This
like
I
Viva
missed this
Vendetta.
game entirely.
it's sort of it graphically.
I tell you what. Sorry, Christian.
No, it's all right.
Owen, why don't you check out the trailer while I go for a slash?
Yeah, okay, we'll take a short break while Owen checks out the trailer.
It looks awesome.
Yeah, have you seen it, Dan? Have you seen the trailer at all?
It was a highlight for me actually. I thought it looked really interesting.
Yeah.
Because it does remind me of BioShock. I mean that's sort of a franchise that has gone. I don't know what's going to happen with that now. I mean, I suppose is it 2K? I suppose they still.
Well, yeah. I mean, when Ken Levine left, he did say that 2K were going to continue making BioShock games. But yeah, I mean, there was a lot of controversies around
mobile card game.
Well, they did bring out the original BioShock on the iPad, didn't they? Shortly after Ken Levine left.
Did they?
They did, yeah.
I didn't know that. That's impressive.
I mean,
if it worked.
Well, it had to be scaled down a lot.
Yes,
in terms of graphics and like water running down the inside of a tunnel and stuff like that was all deleted. So it was visually quite bland.
Yeah, but like just the fact that it's on an iPad or a tablet is impressive for a guy who grew up playing Game Boy under a lamppost.
Okay, guys, I've actually had to cut the recording short there because it turns out we have very little to say about We Happy Few, despite all of us thinking that it looks really cool. We just go on a ramble about Contrast, which is the developer's previous game. More comparisons to BioShock Infinite, and yeah, basically it looks really good. Check out the trailer. Sorry, first attempts and all that. Fucking shoddy work and that. Oh. So I've kind of left my personal favourite was until last here. I think we all know what it is.
Spyro 4.
Spyro 4. Spyro 4. It's not Spyro 4, sadly. It's Scalebound.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Which looks fucking excellent, I have to say.
Does look insane.
I was kind of sad when they said platinum dinosaurs. That's all I need to know.
Going back to Scaleborn looks insane. Like the fact that you can fly this fucking great big dragon.
Yeah.
You can it looks. Is it Square Enix that have made this? It looks very.
It's Platinum.
Platinum.
Who's publishing it?
Is it Microsoft? Is it actually Microsoft?
I don't know. Probably Microsoft.
I can tell you in a couple of seconds. Yeah, Microsoft is the publisher.
Makes sense.
It looks amazing. Like, and the fact that the rider has not only has he got like a dragon scale arm anyway, which I'm guessing is what connects him to the beast.
Yeah.
It's that he can kind of transform into some kind of heavily
scale bound.
Oh,
it's called scale.
Wordplay, Platinum. Wordplay.
Very clever. 10 out of 10, IGN.
Sexy bastards.
But yeah, I think we're all in agreement that it does look. I mean, Platinum, like I said, they don't have. I don't think they have as quite an extensive back catalogue of great games as. I mean, yeah, they've made some great games, but it's not stretching all the way back. They don't have as a bigger catalogue as say. I can't think of any examples now.
It's a very immaculate record, isn't it?
It is, to be fair. Yeah.
Many other studios out there that have that higher quality consistently in their games. Nintendo, maybe one of the only other ones.
Yeah, yeah.
But when you was watching this trailer, did anyone get a real kind of a Monster Hunter feel?
Yeah, I did actually.
Because I really like Monster Hunter. But what I really want is a big console version of Monster Hunter, and I don't think we're going to get that now. I think it's quite clear that Monster Hunter is going to just be portable going forward, which makes sense with the franchise. That's how people want to play it.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'd love to see a big budget, free, all the bells and whistles version on a console, and I sort of
that's
got that
definitely
feeling
what this is going to be. Yeah.
I hope so. I'll be up for
that last little part of the trailer where he's just like, "Yeah, there's one of you. No, there's one of me, but many of you now." And he's just got all these other dragons and shit around him.
The only problem I have with the trailer is the main character is a fucking knobhead.
Yeah, it's got that Platinum. I mean, Platinum aren't. That's one thing they seem to skip up on every time. Is I know in Bayonetta it is intentional that these characters are meant to be sort of cliches, but they've never really been.
No, Bayonetta 2, I really loved that game. I was skipping the cutscenes way before, before the halfway get point.
Absolute nonsense.
They're not even fun to watch, really. They just go on and...
See, they've got a certain charm about them, but they are... Once you've sort of seen one, you've inherently just seen them all.
I thought a game called Scalebound would be about a fat chick going to Weight Watchers.
Yeah.
Oh, not be interesting.
Puns.
That game is my life.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the final feature of this podcast. This is what is it?
Can you teach a Newell dog old tricks?
Yes.
We should do that. That jingle was perfect. Use that.
This is the segment of the podcast where these two fine cockney gentlemen recommend a game to me, as I'm quite a not a novice gamer. I certainly don't have as much of a pedigree as these two guys have.
You're a novice lover, though.
Oh, cheeky.
That's what you told me last night, anyway.
Burn.
So yeah, they're going to tell me of a game of which I should play, which I wouldn't have played back then, and that. And I'm going to go away, play it, and the next time we record, I'd have played it and that. And I'll tell them what I thought of it and that. So yeah, guys, what have you decided for me to play? And say it as though we haven't already decided.
Peggle 2.
I've actually played Peggle 2. Not as good as the first.
Why?
Sorry, was you about to say Peggle 2 isn't as good as the first? It's just falling balls, isn't it?
Hey, there is a secret lore to that game that not many people understand. I'm joking, of course. It is literally just Space Invaders with balls. So yeah,
Chris, my recommendation for you is a game that I only just found out you've never played before, and that is Metal Gear Solid on the PS1.
Yeah.
This is a real classic, and it's also a real window into what games would become in the future. So when games first moved into 3D on the PlayStation N64, the big thing, people wanted to be more like movies. No one made 2D games then. It was embarrassing. You didn't make, no one did that. Everyone was about 3D, and we want this big entertainment thing. And you know what? Metal Gear Solid, in my memory, was the first game that kind of blurred that divide between movie and game. And like, if a game came out now and was trying to be a movie, I'd tell it to go fuck itself. But like back then, this was a real novel thing, and I think if you go back and play it now, you'll see how much of an influence the game's had on the industry as a whole.
Yeah. Oh, and it pushed so many boundaries as well. Like, no spoilers at all are going to be given to you right now, but it's a thought-provoking game outside of the game as well. Like, you have to do things in the real world that make you go,
oh god, yeah.
You're talking about
the fourth wall.
Something Mancer. What's the boss called?
Pedo Mantis.
Pedo Mantis.
Yeah.
Oh, Psycho Mantis. That's it. Yeah, I'm aware that you have
to
change the controllers around, and it'll tell you what save data you have and stuff.
Yeah, and that's it. That's a real famous.
Shit like that. Like, I remember the first time I ever played Metal Gear Solid. Like, I got stuck within the first 5 minutes because I was like, "What the fuck am I supposed to be doing?" Like, I think I've done everything, And once again, I'm struggling not to say what you have to do because I don't want to give you any spoilers, because obviously you need to go away and play it and find this part and go, WTF. But it was so... I need to stop speaking there because I'm struggling to work out how to word it without just telling you what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I think
but it's good. It's brilliant.
Chris, am I right in thinking like one of your favourite games is BioShock, and definitely the game that made you think that games could be more than just simple entertainment?
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's another reason why I recommend Metal Gear to you. Like story-wise, it doesn't have as much to say as BioShock. There's no like Art Deco presentation. There's no they're not talking about objectivism or anything like that. This is just an action movie, but it's a fucking good one. A really good one with some really amazing set pieces. The acting is really quite hammy, but it works in its favour. David Hayter is Snake for me. His voice, and like listening to Kiefer Sutherland in Ground Zero, it's just he does not impress the Snake. Really
but it's a game that gets better each time you complete it. Like it's not a game that you can complete once and kind of get everything out of it. Like it's a game that you go back and complete again and again because it rewards you for doing that as well.
Yeah.
Like with Borderlands, like you complete it once, you play the game plus, and everything levels up. The guns get better, all those kind of stuff.
Yeah.
To an extent, Metal Gear Solid also kind of does that in the sense that you get the game gives you rewards for going around again.
It changes the gameplay, doesn't it? Like like you're saying, like with a lot of games that are New Game Plus, what they really mean is it's just a game with bigger numbers. The enemies are tougher, less health. The numbers change, but the actual game itself stays the same. Whereas with Metal Gear, you get these rewards. I won't spoil them for you, Chris, but they'll fundamentally change how you play through it the next time. And it's a fairly short game as well. I think. I'm trying to remember. It's been a long time.
3 discs?
It is 3 discs, but there's a lot of dialogue in that game.
Yeah.
A lot of dialogue. It's something you need to experience, Chris. Absolutely. Like, people love and hate Metal Gear. For me, Metal Gear Solid encompasses everything great about games and also everything fucking terrible about games, all in one thing. Like, especially with Kojima as well. Like, he has these little gameplay ideas and these little nuggets of awesomeness, and you think, oh man, I love games so much. And then he'll do a cutscene for 8 hours, and you think, what the fuck are you doing? Anyway.
There's some brilliant Easter eggs in it as well.
So I'm going to email Kojima right now. What the fuck do you think you're doing, Kojima?
Yeah, it's definitely one of the games that is always revered and will always be revered and will always be sort of looked back upon. Having not played it, I still know, like I've just shown, I still know things about the game through hearsay. It's just...
Of course.
Yeah, and I am looking forward to play. I've always wanted an excuse to play it, and now I have to play it. So I'm almost contractually obliged.
Some epic bosses as well.
Yeah, I remember nearly every single centimetre of that game. It's one of those... It's a stealth game, I suppose, and like before, there were stealth games before then. Like GoldenEye had its stealth elements, and I think Thief came out the same year. But this put stealth games into the stratosphere. And the first time I played it, I was just sort of like ran in there with my guns, like, and I was dead within seconds. Snake. That was good. I enjoyed that.
But yeah, I will definitely check that out, guys. And
let us know, and Nick, you can give us your opinion, and we can tell you how wrong you are. It'd be good to see, playing it. If I was to play it again now, I'm sure I would be blinded by nostalgia. So it's interesting to see what you think of it going in there. With none of that bias holding you back.
I think that's one of the few advantages of being a novice gamer these days is that
and lover,
of course, and is that I can go back to these old games and sort of look at them without the rose tinted glasses on of nostalgia.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I am looking forward to playing it, and I'm sure I will like it because I love stories that lean more towards narrative. I know it's a mixture of narrative and gameplay, and it certainly innovates in both. But yeah, regardless, I'm looking forward to it.
Boom. I look forward to hearing how you get on.
For sure, and that concludes the first of the GameSlagz podcasts. Thank you very much for listening, all of you. Before we go, is there anything that you guys would like to plug in particular, like Twitter handles or bands that you're a part of or anything like that?
My friend's band Whiskey Stain, they've got their new video launching on Saturday. You can check them out on Twitter, SoundCloud, Facebook, all the social things. Just search for Whiskey Stain. They're really good, pretty good.
Whiskey Stain.
Whiskey Stain, yeah. Not Wank Stain.
Not Wank Stain. All right.
That's the side project.
Owen, how about you?
Well, I'm on Twitter, so feel free to follow me. Is at Owen_Guerin. That's Guerin. But also feel free not to, because I've just connected it to Facebook, so I just waffle about pointless shit. I don't really have many views. I don't have anything exciting going on.
You can also follow Chris in real life because he loves people.
I do. I just can't get enough of them.
I will tweet his address.
I'm sure he would, and thank God he doesn't know it as a result. But yeah, I'd also like to thank Woe Mama for crafting our wonderful intro song there, and I'll be playing out the podcast with one of their own tunes. I will have links to such songs in the YouTube description / SoundCloud description / whatever else I decide to put this on. You can also follow the GameSlagz on Twitter, and we also have a YouTube account, as previously stated. And we will also have SoundCloud accounts and that as well. So thank you very much for listening, everybody, and we'll see you in the next one, which should go up within the next 2 weeks, hopefully, depending on how long this one takes to do, and whether I can be bothered to do a second one, which I probably will be. But not promising anything. Only joking. I will do another one because it's been fantastic. And I thank you all very much for listening. Goodbye. Bye.
Game over.
Da 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 da.
We're not related.